Let's set the stage. It's 1972, and the Queen of Soul is standing at the absolute height of her powers. 5 years earlier, Aretha Franklin walked into Atlantic Studios and changed American music forever. Since then, she's delivered hit after hit, become the voice of a movement, and earned a level of respect that very few artists ever reach. But America in 1972 is complicated. The Civil Rights Movement has achieved historic victories, but the struggle is far from over. The Vietnam War continues. Cities across America are changing. Soul music itself is evolving, becoming more political, more ambitious, and more personal. And Aretha Franklin is right in the middle of all of it. The result is an album that feels like a celebration, a statement, and a reminder all at once. This is Young, Gifted, and Black.
Rock steady, baby. That's what I feel now. Let's call the song exactly what it is. Step and move your hips with a feeling from side to side.
Welcome to Album Archives, the vault of music history, where we dive into the top 300 albums of all time as voted on by fans of the Music Rewind podcast. I'm your host, Steve Epley, and today we're cracking open number 244, Young, Gifted, and Black by Aretha Franklin. Released January 24th, 1972 on Atlantic Records, this album became one of Aretha's defining statements of the early 70s and another commercial and critical success during perhaps the greatest run of albums any soul artist has ever assembled. Produced primarily by Jerry Wexler, Aretha Martin, and Tom Dowd, Young, Gifted, and Black captures Aretha at a fascinating moment in her career. The explosive gospel fire of her late 60s records is still there, but now is joined by sophistication, confidence, and complete command of the studio. This isn't an artist trying to prove herself anymore. This is an artist who already knows exactly who she is.
In this whole world, you know, there are millions of boys and girls who are young, gifted, and black, with their souls intact.
By 1972, Aretha Franklin wasn't simply a successful singer. She was an institution. Her run between 1967 and 1972 is one of the greatest stretches any artist has ever had. Respect, Chain of Fools, Think, Say a Little Prayer, Natural Woman. The hits just kept on coming. But what often gets overlooked is just how talented she was as a musician. Aretha wasn't simply the voice. She was an exceptional pianist, arranger, and interpreter of songs. Her ability to take material written by someone else and make it completely her own was almost unmatched in popular music. Young, Gifted, and Black might be one of the best examples of that gift. The album pulls from gospel, soul, jazz, pop, funk, and R&B without ever feeling scattered. Every song sounds unmistakably Aretha. The album opens with Oh Me, Oh My, I'm a Fool for You Baby. A warm, understated performance that immediately establishes that more mature and polished sound of this era of Aretha's career.
Oh, me, oh, my. You know that I'm crazy, baby. Yes, you do. Oh, me, oh, my. Oh, I'm a fool for you, baby.
Then comes Daydreaming, gentle, elegant, and almost floating above the speakers. It became one of the signature songs of her entire career and remains one of her finest vocal performances.
He's the kind of guy that you give you everything and trust your heart, share all of your love till death do you part.
And then you're hit with Rock Steady. What a groove. The bass line walks, the horns punch through the mix, and Aretha sounds like she's having an absolute blast. If your image of Aretha Franklin begins and ends with Respect or Natural Woman, Rock Steady can come as a genuine surprise. Funky, loose, confident, and somehow every bit as fresh today as it was in 1972.
Rock steady, baby. Let's call this song exactly what it is. What it is, what it is, what it is. It's a funky and love I'm feeling. What it is. In the hips from the left to right. What it is I might be doing. What it is. It's something that's all night.
It's followed by the title track, Young, Gifted, and Black, and it serves as the emotional centerpiece of the whole record. Originally written by Nina Simone and Weldon Irvine as a celebration of black excellence and possibility, Aretha's version feels less like a performance and more like a declaration.
You are young, gifted, and you're black. We must begin to tell our young. There's a world waiting for you. Yours is the quest has just begun.
All the King's Horses is one of the album's overlooked gems, and First Snow in Kokomo is exactly the kind of deep cut Album Archives was practically invented to uncover. Warm, soulful, and quietly beautiful in a way that gets buried when an artist becomes defined solely by their biggest hits.
To make things right on Friday. Since that first snow, in Kokomo.
And then there's how the album ends. The closing track is a cover of Elton John's Border Song. And I'll be honest, when I saw that in the track list, I stopped and smiled. It's one of my favorite Elton deep cuts, a song most casual fans have never found. I found it originally on Elton's Here and Now live album, and Aretha takes it and baptizes it completely. By the time she's done with it, you'd swear it had always been a gospel song, just waiting for her to come along and finish it.
What's this gonna do? You can't. Holy Moses, can we live in peace? Lord, help me now. Holy Moses, can we live in peace? My brother.
Let's put 72 in context. Soul music is evolving rapidly. Marvin Gaye has released What's Going On. Stevie Wonder is entering the most creative stretch of his career. Funk is exploding commercially. Singer-songwriters dominate pop radio. The album era is fully underway. And yet Aretha Franklin remains a soul standard everyone is measured against. Not because she was chasing trends, but because everyone else was trying to catch her. That's what makes this album so interesting. It doesn't sound desperate to stay relevant or eager to reinvent itself. Young, Gifted, and Black sounds like an artist completely comfortable in her own skin. The confidence is everywhere.
I gave my heart and soul to you, boy. Didn't I do it, baby?
Why does Young, Gifted, and Black endure? Because it showcases every side of Aretha Franklin. The powerhouse vocalist, the gospel singer, the pianist, the interpreter, the cultural figure, the band leader. It's all here and in full stride. The title itself remains powerful more than 50 years later. The message behind it hasn't aged, and neither has the music. And perhaps that's Aretha Franklin's greatest gift as an artist. The records never feel trapped in the era they came from. They simply sound timeless.
Walls started shaking. I heard love cried out. Happiness is giving away. Security is coming down. He fell, I fell. Lord, there is left to tell.
And I will admit, I've really been enjoying this forced deep dive into Aretha Franklin's catalog that Album Archives has put me through. It's a little like discovering a national treasure. Obviously, I knew who she was going in. I mean, everybody knows who Aretha Franklin is. You grow up hearing Respect, Think, the Blues Brothers cameo. It all became part of the background noise of American culture. You know the songs, you know the reputation, you know she's important. But knowing an artist exists and actually sitting down with their albums are two very different things. Luckily, this show has been forcing me to do the second one, and I'm glad it has. Coming into Young, Gifted, and Black, I actually only knew one song on the entire record. Oh Me, Oh My. But even that wasn't from Aretha's version. It was because of the absolutely fantastic cover by Morgan James that I've enjoyed over the years. Everything else was brand new to me. Rocksteady absolutely jumps out of the speakers, Daydreaming is beautiful, the title track carries exactly the weight you'd expect, while still feeling warm and welcoming rather than heavy-handed. And then there's Aretha herself. At some point while listening, you stop analyzing and just start appreciating the fact that you're listening to one of the greatest American voices music has ever produced. I've said before that you don't need permission to listen to music. You don't need permission to discover it late either.
Just because I was a beautiful boy, just because
If you've never heard Young, Gifted, and Black front to back, today's the day. It's one of the great soul albums of the 70s, confident, joyful, thoughtful, and endlessly replayable. New to it? Just drop that needle and let it unfold. Longtime fan? Put it on and remember why Aretha Franklin earned the title of Queen of Soul. If you're building your collection, there's a link in the show notes to pick up that vinyl. That's it for this edition of Album Archives, the Vault of Music History. If you enjoyed it, please share it with a friend or leave a review wherever you listen. Next up is number 243, Desperado by Eagles. Check out musicrewindpodcast.com/album archives to see where we're at and where we're headed. If there's an album that shaped your life that didn't make it to our top 300, you can now dedicate an episode of Album Archives to it. Every album has a story, and this is how you tell yours. Link in the show notes. Early episodes are also available on Patreon and Apple subscriptions. For now, I'm Steve Epley, and as I always say, listen to the full album. Until next time.
A podcast from the Sidereal Media Group. Back to you, anchors.